Hi, let me tell you a little bit about the research collaboration that is going on around the XCulture project, this big, gigantic platform that brings together thousands of students, in fact, tens of thousands of students and hundreds of professors and researchers. So first, I'll tell you a few words about what XCulture is, and then talk a little bit more about our research collaboration and data sharing and this big research kind of virtual lab. So in terms of XCulture itself, it's a project that came out of necessity to sort of spice up a little bit international business courses. So those of you who may have taught international business, you know that sometimes you may feel, during a lecture as if you're trying to teach your students how to swim on a football field. You're telling them about different cultures, different economies or economic systems, and the students don't quite understand what you're talking about. And so to deal with this issue in my class, I invited a couple of colleagues from different countries to team up my students with their students, put them in international teams so that those students work across the time zones, across the cultural differences, across the institutional differences. So if I tell them in the class that doing business with Ukrainians is different than doing business with Americans, they can actually have a real experience in that and don't have to take my word for it, but can actually experience it in real life. And so the project went very well. So it grew since 2010 when we started the project dramatically fast, pretty much doubled in size every year ever since we started the project. So as of today, we normally have about 6,000 students from about 150 universities, from about 40 countries by the location of the university, and about 90 countries by the location of students, all 6 continents every semester. So double that, multiply that by 2 to get the annual figures. So it's over 10,000 students every year. And so we place those students in international teams. Usually there would be about 6 students per team, and each one is in a different country. So the team would have 1 student from China, 1 from India, 1 from Germany, 1 from the United States, 1 from Brazil, 1 from Ghana, for example. So this way it's multicultural, multiple time zones, different languages or native languages. They all use English, obviously. So they experience in real life the challenges of international collaboration, so that when I'm trying to explain that in the classroom, they know that they feel they have that experience and they can better understand what I'm trying to teach them. Now, an interesting thing happened in 2013. So one of our professors was doing a consulting project with Mercedes-Benz, and they thought it would be a good idea to involve our students in basically brainstorming of some marketing ideas. That worked very well. Mercedes-Benz was happy, students were happy. So ever since, we invite about 15 companies in a given semester to give us real life international business challenges. And then the students serve essentially as company consultants or interns. And they spend that semester trying to help those companies solve all kinds of different challenges. We have worked with large companies like Louis Vuitton, Mercedes-Benz, Home Depot, and then many smaller, medium-sized companies. And in most cases, the companies ask for things like, could you do an analysis of competition? Could you identify promising new markets? For those markets, can you develop a marketing strategy or best pricing strategy? Or what would be the best entry mode and distribution network for that market, and things like that. And so I found myself in this situation where on the one hand, I have thousands of students. On the other hand, I have dozens of companies. And so we need to figure out a way how to organize this large international crowd so that it produces the best possible answers for those clients. And so to a large extent, much of what we have been doing on the research front is not really to publish papers, even though we have published dozens of papers by now and have probably about 40 papers in development. I think it's like 8 dissertations defended, another dozen or so in development. So the publication part is all in good, but the good thing is that much of the research is done for the sort of practical need. We need to know why some students do better in the international teams than others. We need to know why some international teams produce better work than others. Is it communication? Is it leadership? Is it team dynamics? Why some teams have conflicts and others don't? Is it the personal characteristics? Who gets to be the team leader? What kind of team leader is more effective? All of those are very important administrative questions for me as a project coordinator, but also obviously presents wonderful opportunities for research. And so we have been doing a lot of research, and I will show you our site here. So we have a dedicated page. So if you go there, you can see a lot of information for researchers. So you can look at our data, and we can collect immense amounts of data. It's over 2,500 variables at different levels. So we have individual level, team level, university level, country level, different sources of information. So we have self-reported data, we have administrative records, we have peer evaluations, we have client evaluations, we have professor evaluations, we have some biographical data. We have longitudinal data, so we do weekly surveys, and so many of the constructs are measured every single week, week after week after week. Communication, coordination, motivation, enjoyment, conflicts, bullying, you name it. We look at all kinds of data related to the person's background, nationality, multicultural family or monocultural family, number of languages spoken, age, gender, all those kinds of things. But we also measure all kinds of things that are happening in the team. So who communicates with whom, who is the team leader, personality, IQ, CQ, EQ. So just about anything you can think of, we probably measure that stuff. And so we are very open to collaboration. So we are gladly share our data. We have, if you go here for in the page and look at participants, so you will be able to see here the full list of people who have ever participated in Xculture. And so it's something like 900 professors over the years, but not all of them are research active, obviously. So when you look at the total numbers, that's not including 2021. So we have a total of 670 universities, but many have multiple professors. So it's close to 1,000 professors only. But the good thing is also that many of them are research active. So from this network, probably about 100 professors or so live in the publish or perish world. And so they're actively participating in research. And so when you go to our page here and look at the data, you can find the data information. But for example, this page gives you the ongoing research projects. And it's a pretty extensive list. So you can see here what kind of studies are currently in progress. And so each of these studies, if you click on it, it will give you some information as to the details of the study. And so, I don't know, I'll just open one of them randomly. So for example, which one did I click on? So that's the one on the time zone dispersion, how that affects team performance. And so here you will see the study description, kind of main measures and main hypotheses, and then you will see who is working on the study if you want to contact the person. So we have quite a lot of these studies in development at this time. So when I said 40, I may have even underestimated. So it seems like there are even more studies going on. Now, importantly, many of these studies are done not by Xculture professors, but by external professors. So for example, we had a couple of studies published in Organization Science and FT50 journal last year by professors from Rotterdam. One is in Rotterdam and the other one is in Siad. So they're not Xculture professors in a sense that their students are not part of the Xculture project, but they wanted to use our data. We gladly shared those data. So they published a couple of top papers. The graduate students love us because in many cases, graduate students don't have time to collect the data. They don't have the resources, and we do have the data. And so they come, they use the data, and they write wonderful dissertations. We can collect data for people with interest and ideas. So every semester we collect new data. And so if you have an interesting research idea, if it's something worthwhile, even if you are a graduate student, we may be able to help you with that. We also do a lot of experiments. So we embed a lot of experimental conditions, manipulating the team composition, team size. Does the team have a leader or not? Feedback, compensation, motivation. And so we would do a lot of experiments to see what works, what doesn't. And so, as I said, we live in a world where we have to publish, but we recognize that even though there are many professors in the Xculture network, our data contain many more publishable discoveries, papers and discoveries. And so we are always very open to collaboration. So not only within our network, but with external researchers. So if you ever wanted to take a look at our data, if you ever wanted to maybe work with us, if you're a senior colleague, most welcome. But if you're a junior colleague and maybe you don't really have much experience yet, we will team you up with someone from our group who does have the publishing experience, the writing experience. So this way, not only you can use our data, but you can also become part of this wonderful network. And so, yes, it is essentially a big virtual lab. So some people have a physics lab with some collider or lasers. Others may have some lab with, I don't know, monkeys or rats or rabbits in them. Well, we have this virtual lab where we have thousands of people, literally about 1,000 teams every semester, real time zone differences, real cultural differences, real online communication, real clients, real compensation. Many clients do pay premiums or commissions to the students with the best ideas. And so it's as real as it gets to a real consulting project. And obviously it would be unwise not to use this opportunity for research, both because it's a great way to collect data and publish papers, but also because we need those answers. So yes, if you're interested in exploring more, let me know, and we are always open to collaboration. Thank you.